All right, Lakers fans, let's dive straight into one of the biggest questions facing this team right now. Rui Hachimura. The guy's been playing at an unbelievably high level, and yet his future with the Lakers is one of those puzzles that just keeps everyone talking. Rui is approaching free agency at the end of the season, and the big question on everyone's mind is how much he wants and whether he's willing to stick around. Right now, he's reportedly around the $17 million mark per year, which, given the way he's been performing, makes it almost impossible not to consider keeping him. I mean, we're talking about a guy who is shooting at a historically impressive level, hitting shots with a kind of consistency that turns heads every game. Offensively, he is pure fire. But here's the thing, his offensive prowess is not the problem. The real discussion lies in his position and where he fits best on this Lakers roster. Rui Hachimura has evolved tremendously into that off-ball, catch-and-shoot scoring role. He's honed his game, becoming an elite weapon when it comes to spacing the floor and delivering in key moments. Yet, by nature, he's a power forward. He's not a natural small forward, and that distinction matters. Sure, he can come off the bench and play at the three, but when you look at him as a starter, his impact is most profound at the four. Defensively, he's stronger, more reliable, and in his natural position, he thrives. And this isn't just about numbers on a stat sheet. Watch him in action. The way he guards fours and fives, he's almost immovable. He can plant himself, anchor the defense, and match up against some of the league's elite bigs. That's a level of defensive stability that's hard to come by. Now, you pair that with LeBron James, and things get tricky. LeBron is still the starting four in Los Angeles, particularly at this stage of his career. Playing him at the three would demand more energy and athleticism than he's likely to expend right now. He's 41 years old and still dominant. But the reality is the Lakers aren't going to move LeBron aside for Rui, no matter how much they love what Rui is bringing to the table. That's just the truth. So, Rui's best path right now might be as the starting four if LeBron decides to step away in the near future, or as a high-impact sixth man who can light up the floor in critical moments. The beauty of Rui's game at the four is how he complements the Lakers structure. Most fours in the league don't have his skill set. He can shoot from range, stretch defenses, and still hold his own defensively against the bigger, stronger players in the paint. That versatility is a rare commodity. However, if the Lakers are thinking championship window and long-term roster building, they have to weigh his contributions against other needs. Defense, athleticism, perimeter coverage, and two-way capability are all areas where the team could use upgrades. Rui is excellent offensively, but he doesn't completely solve the defensive gaps, particularly on the wing. That's where a player like Andrew Wiggins comes in, a more athletic, two-way presence who can provide exactly what the Lakers are missing while still fitting into the overall system. If the Lakers could somehow keep Rui and still bring in a player like Wiggins or someone comparable, a Miles Bridges and Herb Jones, someone with that starting 3-and-D impact, they would be in an ideal scenario. Rui could slide into a sixth-man role, coming off the bench to provide scoring, spacing, and a reliable presence when the starters rest. He could also serve as a backup to LeBron at the four, giving flexibility while maximizing both offensive and defensive efficiency. That's a scenario where the Lakers would benefit immensely, not just in terms of points, but in overall team balance and depth. Yet, it all comes down to timing and choices. LeBron's tenure is finite. The team doesn't know exactly how long he's going to stick around. If LeBron decides to sign another short-term deal, then the Lakers must consider how to structure their roster to accommodate both his and Rui's roles. If LeBron leaves, that's a different conversation entirely. One where Rui could step into the starting four role without question. The challenge is that the Lakers can't just make decisions based purely on loyalty or potential. They have to consider roster construction, needs, and the championship window. This situation also highlights the importance of context when evaluating performance. Even without LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves, the Lakers are putting up impressive offensive numbers. They're scoring at a high rate, showing that Rui's offensive output, while valuable, isn't the sole determinant of team success. It's about finding players who can plug gaps, provide defense, and complement the existing stars. Rue's contribution is significant, but it's also about optimizing the entire roster, not just preserving a single player. For Rue, the question is also about his own willingness to adapt. He's shown he can embrace different roles. Whether starting or coming off the bench, he's open to minutes that allow him to make an impact without forcing him into a position that isn't his natural fit. That flexibility could be the difference between the Lakers keeping him in a role that maximizes his talent versus trading him to fill a more pressing team need. It's a delicate balance. The Lakers have a unique opportunity to build a competitive, balanced roster while honoring the players who have contributed to their current success. Ultimately, the Rue Hachimura dilemma is a classic example of modern NBA roster strategy. It's not just about who is good, but how each piece fits together, how they complement each other, and how they address the team's weaknesses. Rue is a phenomenal player who has shown he can be a starting four at a high level, and he's proven he can stretch defenses and score efficiently. But when you weigh the team's needs, the physical demands of positions, and the future of LeBron James' role, tough decisions are inevitable. The Lakers have to evaluate whether keeping Rue as he addresses the core requirements of winning now, or whether making a calculated trade to bring in a player who fills multiple gaps is the smarter path. Picking up from where we left off, let's talk about the actual calculus the Lakers have to consider when deciding Rue Hachimura's future. It's not just about keeping a hot shooter or rewarding a player who has performed well. It's about building a team that can compete at the highest level over the next few seasons. Rue has proven he can be a starter, and he's been hitting shots at an elite rate. But basketball is more than just scoring. Defense, spacing, versatility, and athleticism are all pieces of the puzzle that can determine whether this team is a contender or just a team that falls short in the playoffs. The Lakers have to ask themselves, can Rue continue to grow into a more rounded player, or do they need to acquire someone whose skill set better addresses the gaps they currently have? Rue's offensive skill set is undeniable. He can stretch the floor, make mid-range and long-range shots, and create opportunities for teammates. That kind of scoring punch is critical for a team trying to contend in the Western Conference, especially with younger stars like Austin Reeves and the evolving Lucas squad. However, defense is where he doesn't fully solve the team's problems. While he's competent at the four, providing that lower center of gravity and being able to hold his ground against bigger opponents, he's not the kind of two-way player that can consistently guard the perimeter or create turnovers. That's where someone like Andrew Wiggins or a Miles Bridges-type player adds immediate and tangible value. They can guard multiple positions, cover the wings, and still contribute offensively, which fills a more urgent gap than what Rue brings to the table. Now, think about the team dynamics. If the Lakers are aiming for a championship run, the roles have to be clearly defined. Rue, coming off the bench as a sixth man, could be the perfect fit if they acquire another player who can lock down defensively while also generating offense. In that scenario, Rue's shots continue to fall, he maintains his rhythm, and the team's overall balance improves dramatically. It's a win-win. But if they try to force him into the starting four with LeBron already there, it creates redundancy and could actually hinder the team's defensive cohesion. LeBron at the four is still the priority because he offers unparalleled basketball IQ, leadership, and scoring ability at this stage of his career. The Lakers can't just bench or trade LeBron to accommodate Rue. The uncertainty around LeBron's future also complicates the decision. No one knows how many more seasons he plans to play at this level, and the Lakers need to plan for both possibilities. LeBron staying for a couple more years or stepping away sooner than expected. If LeBron leaves, Rue becomes a natural candidate to step into the starting four role, which makes keeping him a more straightforward decision. But until that scenario is confirmed, the Lakers have to think about maximizing wins right now, which means evaluating all players' contributions and the overall team structure. It's a delicate balance between immediate impact and long-term planning. Rue's flexibility is a major asset. He's shown willingness to adapt to different roles, whether that's coming off the bench, rotating between 3 and 4, or adjusting his minutes to suit the team's needs. That kind of mindset is invaluable, especially for a roster with championship aspirations. But even with his willingness, The Lakers must weigh whether his skill set addresses the most pressing issues on the team. Can he provide perimeter defense? Can he create turnovers or dominate the glass? The answer is that while he contributes, he doesn't completely fill those gaps. This is why the trade discussions, even if uncomfortable, have to be on the table. Sometimes keeping a player who is excellent in one area isn't enough if it leaves the team vulnerable in more critical aspects. Another layer to consider is the depth chart and bench production. Last season, the Lakers struggled with scoring off the bench. Rui has the potential to raise that ceiling significantly. If he accepts a six-man role, he could become the catalyst for bench scoring, allowing the starters to maintain high energy while still producing points consistently. The team's depth is crucial, particularly in the playoffs, where matchups and rotations can make or break a series. Having a player like Rui in a flexible, high-impact role could transform the bench from a weak point into a strength. That kind of strategic deployment requires careful management of minutes, rotations, and matchups, but the potential payoff is huge. Ultimately, the Lakers' decision about Rui is emblematic of modern NBA roster building. It's about fit, timing, and maximizing value across multiple dimensions, not just individual talent. Rui is a phenomenal scorer and has the potential to be a starting four or an elite sixth man, but the Lakers need to weigh his contributions against the team's other needs. Do they prioritize immediate championship window concerns or long-term development? Can they pair him with someone who brings defensive stability and athleticism, elevating the team as a whole? These are the questions that define this offseason. The calculus is also influenced by the market and potential trades. If opportunities arise to acquire a player who addresses key gaps, like Wiggins, Bridges, or a versatile 3-and-D type, the Lakers must evaluate whether trading Rui is the right move. It's painful because he's performing at a high level, but sometimes maximizing the team's championship potential requires tough decisions. The right move might be to keep him, the right move might be to trade him, depending on how these opportunities align with the team's goals. In the end, it's all about building a Lakers team that can compete not just for a season, but for the future. Rui's performance this season has been outstanding, and his adaptability makes him a valuable asset. Whether he remains a starter, transitions to a sixth man, or becomes part of a trade package, the team's objective is clear: maximize talent, fill gaps, and construct a roster capable of contending at the highest level. The decision is complex, nuanced, and crucial for the Lakers' next chapter. And as fans, we get to watch how all these moving parts come together, how the choices in the front office ripple onto the court, and how Rui Hachimura's next chapter will fit into the broader vision of championship contention. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, whispers are swirling through the NBA corridors tonight, and it seems the latest spark comes straight from Salt Lake City. Jazz head coach Will Hardy reportedly dropped a few choice words about the Los Angeles Lakers ahead of their upcoming clash, sending ripples of irritation through the Lakers fanbase. Sources close to the team say Hardy's remarks weren't subtle. He allegedly questioned the Lakers' defensive cohesion and hinted at a lack of discipline on the court, comments that have already been picked up and amplified by social media. While pre-game chatter is hardly unusual, insiders suggest that Hardy's timing and tone were particularly pointed. Analysts are speculating whether this is simply a case of motivational gamesmanship, a coach trying to fire up his own roster, or if there's a deeper strategic ploy at play. Either way, the Lakers' faithful appear unimpressed with four. Jazz players have reportedly remained tight-lipped. Those sources hint that the locker room is buzzing with a mix of excitement and tension. Whether Hardy's comments were meant to unsettle the Lakers, boost his own squad's confidence, or simply inject some drama into the narrative, the effect seems to be working. Rival coaches and commentators have started weighing in, some praising Hardy's boldness, others cautioning that crossing this line can backfire when facing a team with championship ambitions and a fan base as vocal as LA's. The rumor mill is now in overdrive. Could Hardy be setting the stage for a psychological edge, or has he inadvertently fueled the fire for the Lakers, giving them extra motivation to prove him wrong? While nobody knows for certain, one thing is clear. This is no ordinary pregame chatter. As tip-off approaches, all eyes will be on the court, and off it, to see whether Hardy's remarks will be remembered as a clever mind game or a misstep that stokes a rivalry even further. For now, the buzz is enough to keep both fan bases talking, debating, and wondering who will emerge with bragging rights when the buzzer finally sounds. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.